I apologize in advance because there's going to be a lot of cuts in this video. I'm not used to this. I'm very new, so please bear with me, but we will get better, I promise. So stay tuned. Thank you. All right, we're about to put the oil pan back up, and I replaced this O-ring on the dipstick up yonder, or the dipstick tube, and we're gonna put the new gasket on right now. But you need to add some silicone to this section here and this section here on the gasket. It's gonna be right here and right here, because that's where this half and that half come together and accommodate the plant. So. And you're going to want to apply that to both sides. And that also helps the oil stay in place while you're putting it in. And you're going to want to clean off this surface really well from all the oil, and you're going to have to do this kind of quick because the oil seeps back down quickly. So clean the top side first because the oil won't be dripping from the top, and then take some brake clean on the bag and go all the way around, especially the spots where the silicone is going to be. And just start some bolts by hand. Preferably one in each corner-ish area. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't go crazy, snuggle up just a little bit to hold the gasket down. Because you're still going to need the other one line up.
It's gonna rain.
it's fun. And I could purchase a yellow Sonic. They don't have any 36. Goddamn race car. Alright, the torque is 10 newtons. That's all of them. Alright, now we're going to take off the tops of the motor mounts. Install new Well, that's why we replaced the other one. Fully separated. And that is why we're going with full aluminum. If you're wondering, those are 16 millimeters up on top. And same with the bottom ones that go on the subframe. There we are. Garbage. Okay. Here's the new motor mounts. Got them from Condor Speed Shop. We got the transmission mounts too, the full aluminum transmission mounts. We're going to install the motor mounts, but we're going to leave them loose so that way we can line up the subframe with those because it has an alignment piece. This side is a lot easier. Much more open, especially if you don't have your AC compressor. Alright, we are going to now install the lower control arms onto the subframe because it's so much easier to do when it's on the ground. These are the extended control arms, and these are from Merp Garage. Time to mount the subframe. Well, that was a little bit of a tax, but we did it. Okay, we got to press out these bushings from the lower control arm bushings. I have new ones coming, but they've been on, I don't even know, they've been shipping and I've been waiting for 2 months. So hopefully they'll be here next week, but in the meantime, I want to get this car on the road. So I'm going to push in these extra bushings that I had. So essentially I knocked out the center section and that was not even on purpose. I just pulled this off and it came with it. So, or it came without it, I guess. But basically, if you have a press, that's the best way. Air hammer, or a hammer and a punch, and just go to work with maybe a torch. Yeah. So we got a press. We're gonna grab a couple of things, just using some spare things I have around the shop, and then we're just gonna press it out. And you gotta be careful, you can't have something that's perfectly the size of this because it actually bevels down a little bit and it has to be a little bit smaller. And so I actually had to get this other piece as well that fits in there, and that's what it looks like when it comes out. And you're gonna want to mark which one of these comes off which side because the bushings go in a certain way. They have these little collar on the outside, just like that, and it goes in with the collar facing the front of the vehicle. And there, she's out. And I'll show you. It's gonna be hard to see, but there's just a little bevel right here just to help guide in your new bushing. Alright, so we are going to press in the new bushings. They give you grease or bushing lube, which you need to put on or else you'll get some squeak, and also it helps it go in easier. So you want to make sure you're pressing in the correct way. This little tiny lip collar is going to go towards the front of the vehicle, so just like that. So that bevel is really only going to make a difference if you're putting in stock bushings because they're non-directional, and these ones, like I said, you got to put this in face the front of the vehicle, so you're actually putting it in the back side. And we're just going to put some lube on this bushing. Ooh. Just coat the whole thing, light layer. You know how to do it. Ooh, that's the sticky icky. Anyway, put that off to the side. And then you can just get it started just by here. Just like that. Ease in. Then do the same thing with the next one. Also lubricate the piece on the control arm that goes into it. Alright, these are kind of a pain to get on because they're like perfect size. So I'm just it's gonna take some finessing, but I believe in you. Alright, I didn't get it on camera, unfortunately. I'm gonna try to get the other side, but I used this basically as like a guide and then just pried it up so it slipped over. And it went. Slipped right onto those little dowels. And just tighten up the bolts. And I did it on the closer to the wheel one. Okay. My gosh. That was a doozy. These are 18s and they're gonna get torqued to 34 foot-pounds. That bolt got a little shady. I actually lied, these are definitely 18 or 17s. Alright, next we're gonna press the bearings on these knuckles, which these and the control arms, I already said it, but are from Murph Garage. Huge shout out. They're local guys and everybody that is around here runs them, so they must be pretty good. Check them out. So essentially, the rear race, and you gotta press the back one onto the wheel or onto the knuckle. You could get it on most of the way by hand. Basically, I got it in there halfway, and I'm just gonna use the rest of nice and easy. Traction. Do the same thing on the other side. Because I don't think it should be that loose. Interesting. So there's the wheel bearing without the races in it. This is the outer race. Before you put this back together, just do yourself a favor, unless you're using brand new wheel bearings, which I should be, but I'm not, because these are still in good condition, and I'm just gonna get some when I need them. But just toss some bearing grease in here, some high temp bearing grease, and just pack that full. And then I'll show you how to install these on the car when we get there. All right, now that we got our races onto the knuckles, now you're just gonna put it back onto the control arm. Just bolt it up loosely to the bottom for the lower control arm. And then bring your strut to match. And bolt your strut to your knuckle, and then that will get it all sturdy. And then we can get to put the wheel bearing on really quickly, and then we'll put the steering rack in after that. Alright, just get them started by hand and we can put them on. So actually tighten down the lower control arm ball joint before you put the strut on, because there's no room to tighten that ball joint. Alright, take the wheel bearing, bam, slap it outer race. And we have already put a bunch of grease in there. There's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl. So I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Awkward. Then you just tighten it down. You're gonna have to, I'll give you the torque. You're gonna have to, while you're torquing, rotate the wheel bearing to make sure it doesn't bind. The torque is 290 newton. So. And the side socket I'm using is a little bit loose, but it's the only one I have, and it's the closest I got. It is 1 13/16 inch. I'm pretty sure it's 42 for the actual size. I could be wrong. Until it gets a little snug, like right there. And while you're torquing it, rotate it in the opposite direction. And then on that collar, right there, hammer in that into the open space. Alright, so we got the steering rack, you know, partially in, just barely bolted up. I measured out 1/4 of an inch off this because you gotta cut the E90 inners because it's just a hair too long. It's about an 1/8 inch too long, but I'm gonna cut 1/4 just because that little bit of thread will give me more adjustment if I wanna, you know, go toe in. But yeah, so I got this vice grip right here. I set my nut to 1/8 of an inch, and then I put this vice grip right behind it, very lightly clamped down just so it doesn't back off, but enough to where it won't mess up the threads. And I'm just gonna cut the end off. Alright, so right now we are going to be centering the rack. I already got the measurements, so I measured, I know you're not supposed to do it like this, but I measured right off the edge of this rack spacer to right at the edge of this, and then same on this side, and got them right within a 1/16 of an inch of each other, even really less than that. And so I got that set, and I got my helper up in the seat. He is holding the steering wheel as dead straight as you could possibly get it. And now we're going to put the steering shaft into the steering rack. Still straight? Alright, we got the tie rods on, all tightened up and everything. We're going to put the rotors and the wheels on, and then we're going to check our toe visually because we have no toe plates. So anyway, put on my crusty dusty rotors. Now a caliper. We're going to put the sway bar in now. figure this out. So, uno momento. Alright, figured it out. Alright, in case you were wondering, it goes like that, over the water pump, and then around the idler, tensioner, and then back around the crank, then around the power steering, and up over the alternator. Just like, now it's going to be time to throw on the wheels, and then I'm going to clean underneath of this because there's so much oil all over the place.
Burn it down. We gon' burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
Now the long process of bleeding this power steering. Everything's installed. It actually drives very straight for being eyeball toe. Definitely, yeah. But anyway, on her maiden voyage, she overheated, and my reservoir actually has a crack in it. It's hard to tell. It's spraying, and it's spraying all right there. So yeah. But anyway, we got the new engine mounts. I don't know if you can see them down there. Steering rack's doing alright for being a used one. Still needs bled, but bled the rest of the way. But overall, drove it 2 miles. What else can you ask for? So that's gonna be the end of episode 2. Yeah. So thank you for watching. We're gonna do the rear end next, and that'll be fun.